What's going on, Beamer fans? Welcome back to Beamer Review. For today's video, we're going to be going over the climate control in a BMW and why you may be using it incorrectly. If this is your first time on Beamer Review, we teach you everything there is to know about your BMW. So if you are someone who wants to learn everything about your BMW, subscribe to this channel because we put out content every single week. Before we get started, if you needed some cool all-season mats for your BMW, the links for those are going to be right down below. Check those out at the end of the video. And without further rambling on, let's go ahead and go over how you may be using your BMW climate controls incorrectly. So here's what I would say that everyone is kind of doing wrong. If I were to turn on my climate control settings, we're going to see our climate control menu pop up. One of the biggest things that people tend to do wrong, in my opinion, is using this system in the manual mode. Now you can see here that I have my auto on, but if you were to turn this guy off, you're going to see a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo pop up here, and this is going to make things a bit more complicated. Now whenever you turn off the auto function inside of your BMW climate control, this screen pops up. The reason why I believe this is a really inefficient way to use it is because you're going to have to do a lot more work to get the desired temperature inside your BMW. What's going to happen is that you're going to have to go into here, adjust your fan speed. Again, my climate control setting may look a little bit different compared to yours. I do have a M series vehicle, so this may not look the same as yours exactly, but the functions are pretty much the same. You would have to go into fan speed here, make adjustments here. If you wanted to make adjustments to where the air or climate control is blowing through, you're going to have to tap on these little sections here. The reason why I believe this is very inefficient is because you're going to have to be driving and making adjustments at the same time. It's really difficult to use your BMW controller here to make adjustments with that. So you're going to have to be driving, and then you're going to have to be using your hand, drive, and make adjustments to your AC controls or climate controls at the same time, which not only is really annoying, but is also going to be very unsafe for you as well. What I would recommend for everyone, and I know the vast majority are already doing this, but I do find myself seeing many different BMWs that are still stuck in this manual mode, is to just go into auto. Once you do that, you can still adjust your fan speed to get the right amount of air blowing through. I typically keep mine either at very low or in the medium setting here. I do always keep it synced. But by making this adjustment, what you would have to now only worry about is just controlling your temperature. Once you do that, the car will take care of the rest. You do not have to worry about anything. The car will dictate where it needs to blow the air. It is a really smart system. It does know that hot air tends to rise. So during the winter months, you're going to notice that the air is going to be blowing from the bottom nearby your feet because hot air will rise. So it keeps a nice balance within the vehicle. By using it this way, I have noticed that it does a great job of keeping the windshield defogged and still have your defrosters here in case you need to do that immediately, so you get the best of both worlds. But by simply doing it this way, just set your temperature, set it and forget it, just like you would your house, and it would make your life a lot more easy. If you do have remote engine start inside every BMW or the ability to precondition it, I would do remote engine start or precondition the vehicle before you get into your BMW every single time. By doing that, your BMW will already be at a reasonable temperature so that you can just begin to go ahead and drive, and then your climate control will stay a lot more balanced along the way as well. What tends to happen quite a bit on why people end up going into manual mode is that they notice that their BMW, whenever it is in auto, it is not blowing air and the vehicle will be really cold or really hot. So they question themselves why the BMW is not working in terms of climate control. Then they manually make adjustments. What tends to happen with the BMW is if it is too hot or too cold, the BMW needs some time to get into a reasonable temperature in terms of the engine in order for it to blow the correct air at the right amount of speed. I'll give you an example. If the BMW is very, very cold in terms of the engine temperature, the BMW will not blow hot air to heat it up because it needs some time for the engine to heat up before it can blow the hot air into the vehicle. And then that will prevent the additional load on your climate control so that you can enjoy your driving experience. Another thing to be mindful about is inside your climate menu, you're going to see this little guy right over here where it says individual settings. This is going to be huge for people that don't know about this. Once you go into that, you're going to see some menus. Click on driver, for example. you're gonna see this little guy right over here where it says individual settings. Individual settings is an extremely good feature to know about, because what this will do is automatically turn on your heated seat if the BMW senses that it is really cold inside, and also your heated steering wheel if you have one. Also, if you have cooling seats, the BMW will go ahead and do that as well. So you can be rest assured that your BMW will take care of all this before you even manually turn on all that stuff. That is a really cool feature. BMW used to have a similar feature in their older BMWs called climate control rules. This is going to be the next best version of that. If you have a spouse or somebody who means a lot to you, you should be a good person and activate that for them. This guy could just be in the middle. And then I'm going to leave cooling the way that it is. There's no heated steering wheel on the passenger side of the vehicle. If you weren't sure if your BMW had remote engine start or preconditioning, go into preconditioning right over here. You're gonna see remote engine start pop up right over here. This is the guy you wanna make sure is either blue or green, and that is how you enable that setting. You have to do this first before you can do remote engine start. If you have a newer BMW, but you're not sure if it has remote engine start or not, go onto BMW's Connect and Drive website. You can also purchase it if you purchased your BMW without it initially. So yes, everyone, definitely make sure you make those adjustments. Those are going to be really, really huge to do. Again, just to repeat the whole thing, don't be operating your BMW inside this manual mode. In my opinion, go ahead and make sure it is on auto. The other cool thing too is that once it is in auto, you don't have to worry about this AC guy here. The BMW will just take into account what temperature you want it to be, and then it will make adjustments along the way. Lastly, to finish up the video, the other thing to mention is the use of voice command. I've named my BMW Emmy. You can also do that for your BMW. If you go into your home screen, settings, personal assistant, and then settings right down here, this is where you can go to change the name of your BMW. Go to wake word, and then you're gonna see your Hello BMW located here. You can turn that on, and then you can set up your personal wake word here, and then you can change this to whatever you want. I have named my BMW Emmy. She doesn't want to talk to me right now. Emmy. And so from now on, the only thing I would have to say is, Emmy, set the temperature to 75 degrees. I could also say, Emmy, I am very, very cold, and then it will heat up the temperature all by itself. You could even say things like, Emmy, turn on the defrosters. It'll do that. And many other different climate control functions can be done by the use of voice command. If you don't want to do it that way, you can also just use this voice command button here. Note that if you push it once, you get your BMW voice command, which pops up right there. Another way to use it is if you hold it down, you get Siri to control your phone for phone calls and text messages. So yes, everyone, that is how I think you should be using your climate control functions inside of your BMW. Definitely try to avoid using that manual mode. It does get really annoying really fast. Try to learn how to operate it in automatic and just adjust your temperature, because then the only thing you have to worry about is just these two guys here. The benefit of that is that whichever screen you're on in your BMW, this little toolbar here is going to be here at all times. So if you want to make adjustments to your climate control, this is all you would have to do. You would not have to go into this guy, turn off auto, adjust your fan speed here, and all this other annoying stuff. Leave it in auto, set it and forget it. That's all you got to do. If you all had any questions, write them down below. Again, content coming out every single week. We are going to be hitting 100K soon, so expect a huge jump in terms of progression for this channel. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. See you all for the next one.